So today I will be solving Einstein's riddle, and this is a logic puzzle that will help with solving multivariable equations. So let's get to it. Right away we have 15 hints, and our goal is to figure out which house keeps the fish as the pet, and that is our goal. And I know the answer to this logic puzzle. I know where to go, how to do this, but in other logic puzzles it will take you down dead ends, false routes, everything like that. But eventually you can figure out any riddle by using logic and thinking through it logically. So let's read these hints. The British man lives in a red house. The Swedish man keeps dogs as pets. The Danish man drinks tea. The greenhouse is next to and on the left of the White House. The owner of the greenhouse drinks coffee. The person who smokes Pall Mall rears birds. The owner of the yellow house smokes Dunhill. And the man living in the center house drinks milk. The Norwegian lives in the first house. The man who smokes blends lives next to the one who keeps cats. The man who keeps horses lives next to the man who smokes Dunhill. The man who smokes Blue Master drinks beer. The German smokes Prince. The Norwegian lives next to the blue house. And the blend smoker lives next to the one who drinks water. Now from here, if you were to start this by trying to go down the list 1 through 15, you would have a hard time, as you're trying to match things up before you actually have any pertinent information. And there's 2 pieces of pertinent information right off the bat, but it's not the first piece of information, it is the 8th piece of information, and the 9th. So let's start with 8. The man living in the center house drinks milk, and the center house is already defined. So we know that his drink of choice must be milk, whoever lives in this house. That's done. Number 9, the Norwegian lives in the first house. Here's the first house, so that means that the Norwegian must live there. And that's done. So what this now does is gives us number 14 that will give us pertinent information. The Norwegian lives next to the blue house. Since Norwegian is the first house, there is nothing to the left of him, but there is a house to the right of him, which means that that house must be the blue house. Now the next piece of information that we now learn is from 4 and 5, but we're going to read 5 first, so we know how to work number 4. The owner of the greenhouse drinks coffee. So that means wherever we put the greenhouse, there can't be any drink. They can't drink coffee and they can't already have a house on there. So that means that the blue house and the middle house that drinks milk is out of the equation. So now let's read on where this is supposed to go. The greenhouse is next to and on the left of the White House. That means that the White House is on the right. And so that means that the first house cannot be it, because the blue house is on the right. And we already said that it can't be the middle house. So that means that it must be one of these 2 houses. It's not the last house because there's nothing on the right of it. So that means that it must be the second to the right house. So that's greenhouse. Which means that this is the White House. And we know that the person in this house drinks coffee. So now we jump all the way back up to the top. The British man lives in a red house. There's only 2 houses left without a color. And the Norwegian lives in the first house, so he can't be the first house. Which means that the red house belongs to the Brit, and it's in the center. Which makes the Norwegian's house yellow. This opens up a new piece of information on hint number 7. The owner of the yellow house smokes Dunhill. And since we know who has the yellow house, we know that he smokes Dunhill. This opens up number 11. The man who keeps horses lives next to the man who smokes Dunhill. And there's only one house, and that's the blue house. That's next to the yellow house, or the one who smokes Dunhill. So he keeps horses. We have everything that we can out of this so far that just gives us straight information. We can't get anything else out of this. So now we have to do a process of elimination. And so let's start with the first house and the first unoccupied slot, which is the drink. So we need to figure out what the Norwegian drinks. There's only 3 options left, and we know that it's not tea, because because the Danish man drinks tea. So that's out of the equation. And then the one who smokes Blue Master drinks beer. Well, the Norwegian smokes Dunhill, so it can't be beer because he'd have to smoke Blue Master as well, which only leaves water. Which now, this opens up a new clue, and that is the blend smoker lives next to the one who drinks water. And there's only one next to the one who drinks water. Now, some people would take this route to assume this next one, the man who smokes blends lives next to the one who keeps cats, but you can't answer this yet because there are two houses next to the blue house, and they both have their pet slot open. So we can't do that, so we'll come back to it. With this now, if you look in the drink in the cigar section, every single house has at least one of these filled in except for the last house. Which means that this hint that tells us what someone smokes and drinks must go into this one. So the White House must smoke Blue Master and also drink beer. What this does is tells us that there is only one drink left, and there's only one house that doesn't have a drink. That's the Blue House, and he drinks tea. And in the third clue, it tells us that the Danish man drinks tea, so that means that we know that the Dane lives in the Blue House. We only have two nationalities left. There are two clues that have nationalities in it, but we're going to go with the one that only one of these nationalities is missing. Both are missing pets, so we can't do the Swedish man keeps pets as dogs, but we can do a cigar one, as the greenhouse is missing a cigar and a nationality, as the White House is not. So the German smokes Prince, so we know that the German lives in the greenhouse, as that is the only one that has both slots open. This tells us that the Swede lives in the White House, and we know that he keeps dogs as pets from that hint, and so we figure that out. Now the person who smokes Pall Mall rears birds. There's only one cigar left, and that is Pall Mall, so that means that it must go into the center house, and that means that he keeps birds. So this is our last hint, and the man who smokes blends lives next to the one who keeps cats. He smokes blends. The red house has a pet that they keep, but the yellow house doesn't, so that means that he must keep cats. And that gives us our answer of the greenhouse. The German in the greenhouse that drinks coffee and smokes Prince keeps a fish. And that is the answer to Einstein's riddle.